What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and we have a nice slate of college games for tomorrow that I think hopefully we will do good on. I have a good amount of plus odds picks, and I'm going to go into them all because I have also included a recap of essentially all my latest basketball videos, some football, but mostly basketball because I basically recap our weekends every weekend, so I'll be doing that on Monday or Sunday night. I like to sometimes wait for the Monday game. And then basketball. We had a tough night tonight. Tonight was a weird one. The Grizzlies were the only leg three we played, so we didn't have a bunch of units in play, but you can see they lost it at the end. Mavericks, if you guys want a funny story about my misfortune, I thought I would be slick and take Luka and Jokic to get triple doubles. So I had them both going 10, 10, and like 30, which is about their normal lines. Paid 22 to 1, and of course, they both finished like one assist shy. We did get the Thunder cover, missed the Bulls. I think that was only a leg one. And we missed the Mavericks, of course. And we got the Pacers, which is fine. We actually got some plus odds. Like I said, even if they were giving points, I was fine giving them. I figured they would win that game. Missed the Knicks, another weird one. And the Heat was just a typical game that we would have. They had the spread. They took in a classy gesture, they took a shot clock violation. The Wizards reciprocated by hitting a three-pointer and covering the spread. So those kind of things happen, of course. That was like a leg one, too. So Grizzlies is the really only, I'd say, not obviously no loss is fun, but more a disappointing loss, of course. But like I said, the reason I do the system this way is because we're going to have leg three losses, which is, again, leg three is just we put 4 units on that particular game. I'll go into that in a second. There's a lot of college plays, so I'm just going to show all the ones I have. But I do want to just show this real quick. As you can see, we got Ohio State 8-0. We got Air Force, which I think is kind of laughable, but that's fine, 8-0. We got Florida State's 8-0. Michigan's 8-0. Washington's 8-0. And we got some 7-1s in there, too. So, again, I don't think we're going to roll into playoff time with 5, 6, 7 undefeated teams. I just don't see it happening. So the last couple weeks I've been fading undefeated teams. Now I've also been using my metrics. As you can see, these are just the last few days I've been closing out sequences. So tonight, like I said, we lost the Mavs, Nuggets. I thought it'd be easier to show it this way. So if you're tailing me, it'll be a lot quicker than showing you all the ESPN games and then coming over here. But anyway, I got Arizona, UCLA going over 50. That's going to be a leg 3 for 4 units. That's going to be for our leg 2 Mavs loss that we just incurred. I think it's a great play. Both these teams haven't gone over much, specifically Arizona, something like 1-8 to the over. I think the under is going to get hit pretty hard, so I think that's good enough to play for an over. If you guys know, if you've been following my channel for a little bit, you probably know I've been taking the LSU under. Of course, it hasn't worked out, but again, playing these metrics, more often than not, we're going to close at a high rate. So, again, LSU's perfect on the over. They're 8-0. In history, a team's never finished perfect or imperfect, meaning winless against a spread or against an over-under. So, I think LSU finally goes under this week. People have to be slamming this over at this point. This was a leg 3 that we lost. Like I said, I'm also doing recaps. So it's a 4-unit loss on the night. If you include the entire sequence, it's a 7-unit loss. And that's why I went in before. For every time we lose a leg 3, we need to win at least 7 sequences to break even. That's why I do plus odds and things like that, because then we only have to win about 4 or 5 sequences. So that was a 7-unit loss in general. And then, again, all the sequences we close, unless it's a plus odds, is going to be 1 unit. So this was a leg 2 that we lost. Leg 1, we got leg 2. But getting back to the college picks, let's see. Here's our other leg 3. I like USC to beat Washington. Again, Washington's undefeated. I thought about playing it as a leg 2 because Caleb's always going to get some money on him. And that leg 2 we played the other night, that was the parlay, if you remember. But anyway, even though there'll probably be money on Caleb, he's lost a couple now. He's had a couple not so good games. I think if anything, again, you got to have some teams that aren't undefeated. So I can't imagine Washington is going to be up there with Georgia and Michigan State, all these other teams. So I feel fine taking this as a leg 3. And plus 125 will profit closer to 2 units instead of 1 unit, and if should they win the game. So that's the other reason I chose it as a leg 3. I like the value. I didn't find a leg 3 for this one yet. We're going to plug it in pretty soon. That was the Kings-Warriors game from the other night. And same with this one. I haven't found the leg. I don't want to just rush leg 3s. So, again, these are all of our open sequences, essentially. And then this one we closed. This was last night. We closed this one. Closed this one. Closed this one. Close these. So, like I said, it's not too much to make up a 3-leg loss. And then tonight was our other 3-leg loss. So we had about 2 3-leg losses basically over the course of the last couple nights as far as all the sequences we've done, which is 14 units in general, which is not fun. But again, that's why at the end of the day, I just trust the numbers to bear out. With college tomorrow, like I said, it's going to be a big one. So, like I said, I have all of our sequences in here that I've been closing, and there's a bunch more colleges to come. Those were just most of our leg 3, leg 2s. So we do have another leg 2. I like Vandy to cover Auburn. That was our Bulls loss from tonight. So I'll be running that as a leg 2. I like the cover because I just think that, again, Vandy's awful this year on the cover. They're 1-8. We got them last week for their first cover. I think they get a couple in a row. That's typically what will happen. Once they finally cover, they'll get a couple covers in a row, and then sometimes they'll even get a win. Another leg 2 is going to be Ohio State to cover Rutgers. You might be asking why I'm not taking Rutgers to beat Ohio State outright, since I'm fading undefeated teams. That I am, but I also like my against the spread metric. Rutgers is only 1 loss this year against the spread. I'm also assuming I'm trying to look at the most realistic teams to lose. So I'm hoping I picked the split right, because if I did, obviously we should do pretty good. But I think Ohio State will stay undefeated. I think they'll be one of the teams that stays undefeated. And I'm hoping I picked the right ones that knock off the undefeated teams. So UCLA covers Arizona. Arizona is really good against the spread, 7-1, something like that, 8-1. So that's also going to be a leg 2 for 2 units. And again, that can be for any open leg 1. We have other leg 1s from prior sequences, so it can also be, since it's a later game, if we lose any of these games, we can plug in, and that's probably what I'll do. I'll plug in UCLA to cover Arizona as a leg 2. Because like I said, a lot of these games will be over. So here are our leg 1s. There are riskier plays. I was going to make one like a leg 2, leg 3, because it would pay a lot if obviously it came through. But I'm just looking at, again, if we get one of these, that'd be fine, obviously, especially if we do good on our leg 2, leg 3s. Specifically, LSU is a big one, USC. But I just want to play them as leg 1s. The odds are good enough. So I got Mexico beating UNLV outright. I really like them to cover them, but I just went with the win for the extra value. UNLV is really good against the spread. So I think at the very least they'll be covered, and I figured we'll go for the 3-1 while we're at it. Missouri, I like them to beat Georgia because, again, the undefeated teams. I think this could be one where an undefeated team loses. I think it makes more sense. Again, the biggest cover all year was 21 points by Dion. The one I was going over a second ago with the prospect of Ohio State being covered, it's a 21.5 point spread. So I don't think that 21 is going to get beat all year. So I try and stick to exactly 21 or lower. But anyway, so I got Missouri beating Georgia straight up. I think that's like a 11 point spread or something. I got Louisiana Tech beating Liberty straight up. Again, Liberty's undefeated. I think it's coming to an end. 5.5 to 1. I'll take those odds. Same exact logic with Army, where we're getting a 7.25 to 1. So again, we don't need to get all of these. I don't expect to. But it would be lovely if we got even 2 of them. And the last one is not undefeated teams. It's just, I think enough people are fading Colorado at this point. We finally saw their defense actually look pretty good. Deion's been talking all year about how the whole team has to play as one. I think they're going to have an average, exactly a 50-50 season or better. I don't think they're going to have a losing record. And I think enough money will be on Oregon State. So with all that, I like Colorado here to beat Oregon State. Again, I like Army to win. Illinois, I like them for the win. It's basically a pick 'em. And Illinois is the worst team in college this year against the spread. That's why I like that. I took Cal to cover Oregon because Oregon is really good against the spread. Again, we got a lot of plays this weekend, but it just happens to be a great week for metrics. So hopefully it works out. So yeah, I like Cal to cover the 24.5 here. And USC, normally I pick the over because it's such a high over-under. Like, it's for it to be set at 77.5. But they just almost scored 100 points. I think people understand USC plays at a ridiculous pace, so, and Washington does too, so it reminds me of when they played Colorado. I think that game still might have wound up going over, but USC's only gone under once this year. Washington's, I think, 4-4, so they're right in the middle. I expect, even with the high spread, I think it'll go under. And our final one is Ohio State Rutgers over. Ohio State really bad on the over this year, and I don't think Rutgers is much better. So a lot of these are metric plays. And again, I tried to save the leg 3s, leg 2s for more of the 50-50s. The USC to win, the LSU Bama to go under, and the Arizona UCLA to go over. Of course, it was enticing to put Colorado in there, but I really wanted to save them for higher metric plays. And like I said, UCLA covers is going to be leg 2, along with Ohio State covers, Rutgers, Vandy covers Auburn. And for the UCLA one, like I said, I'm just going to wait for one of these ones. I'm sure we're not going to win them all. If we do, we got bigger, that's a bridge I'll be happy to cross when we come to it. But again, should one of these two teams lose, one of these dogs we have, we're just plugging in UCLA to cover as the leg 2, since it's going to be a later game. So yeah, a lot of plays tomorrow. I'll have our NFL games out as well, of course. But I like a lot of these games tomorrow because of the undefeated narrative. I just don't think we're going to have that many undefeated teams. I don't think we're going to have this many teams against the spread that are defying history. So between the metrics and the dogs, again, I don't expect to hit 50% of these, considering about 30% of these we have heavy underdogs. But again, I think we'll have a nice profit on the day. And like I said, closing out these leg 3s is very important as well. So the LSU, the Arizona, the USC will be some big plays. So as I always say, take care and happy earnings.